Our next speaker is a chartered accountant and management accountant with over 2 decades of experience, including leadership positions with multinationals across geographies. She has completed an executive education program from Harvard Business School, a professional speaker and art of living practitioner, high-performance business coach, credentialed from International Coach Federation, author of the bestseller, What the Finance, and A Glance at the Unknown. Let us all welcome from the largest country in South Asia region, Sangeeta Shankaran Sumesh.
Kamusta kayo, Manila? Thank you. I can't tell you how delighted I am to be here in your beautiful country. And I'm even more delighted to meet all of you and talk to you about the difference your book can make. Agree? Your book can make a difference? When I was just a little excited, I asked myself, why shouldn't I write? But what will I write? For whom will I write? And here's what my mind said to me. Just write a para. Whatever words will be. The difference you will see. Write a para. And your book, it'll be. Thank you. So, I'm here to share with you my journey and how I got around here to be here in front of all of you. Before I even do that, I want to tell you a story. The story is about a poor farmer. The farmer was living on top of a hill. And every day, the farmer had to come down the hill to get water from the stream. So since he was a poor farmer, all he had was 2 pots. So he'd come all the way down to the stream, get water in both his pots, tie it on his shoulder, and go back all the way up. When he used to get back home, one of the pots used to have all the water in it. The other pot had just about half of it. The pot that had the water full was very proud because it said, I'm doing the job I'm meant to do. I'm so perfect. I'm beautiful. I'm shining. But then, the other pot was getting only half the water. And do you know why? It was a cracked pot. And so, when the farmer used to bring all the water all the way up, the water used to get leaked. So the cracked pot felt very ashamed of itself. It told the farmer, I'm so sorry. I'm not doing a good job. I'm not good enough. I really apologize, and I'm feeling so bad about it. The farmer smiled at the crackpot. And you know what he told the crackpot? Do you see the path we've been taking every day when we reach back home? Do you see the beautiful flowers that have bloomed there? And you know how it's bloomed? I have planted the seeds there, and the water that has been dripping from the cracked pot, these beautiful flowers have actually blossomed. And you have made this difference. Right? My friends, most of us are a cracked pot at times. We don't know our own potential, what we are capable of, and the difference that we can actually make. So I'm now going to talk to you about the 5 wives and the 1 husband. Do you know who they are? The why. Why would your book make a difference? What would it make a difference on? For whom would it make a difference? Where will it make a difference? When will it make a difference? And most importantly, how can it make a difference? To be honest with you, I had no intentions to become an author. I hadn't even had a dream to become an author. And today, by God's grace, I'm one of an award-winning author and also a best-selling author. Thank you. So I'm going to take you through my journey, and I'd encourage you to see how yours can be one as well, right? So let's start by knowing your purpose. Like Simon Sinek says, start with why. So why would your book make a difference? I want you to do a little exercise. You know your age, don't you? Yeah. So take your age and multiply it by 365. Yeah? So it's that many days that you have existed in this beautiful planet. And that also means you've acquired so much of knowledge during all these days. So a book can be a great platform to share all your knowledge. Not just that, your book can generate a lot of new ideas, not just for yourself, but for your readers too. And in the process, it could facilitate a lot of new ideas for your readers. A book is a great way to express yourself. You can speak up your heart, and you can reach out to a lot more people. So it's a great way to express yourself. And you know what? With your book, you become a creator. I always say a book is like a baby. And I'm sure most of the women would relate more to it, because it's like the labor that you put in, and then out you have your beautiful baby. So it's an art of creation. You leave behind a legacy because your book will outlive you. So it's a great reason you can write. And of course, like I said in my song, why not write a book? What do you have to lose after all? I'll share with you what prompted me to write. In 2015, I had been on a family vacation to Cambodia. How many of you have been to Cambodia? Okay. I had been to the capital city of Phnom Penh, and I had visited the killing fields there. From 1970 to 74, there was a mass genocide in Cambodia. Even now, when you go to the killing fields and you walk in the killing fields, you will actually find pieces of bones and nails. There's a huge tower that's been erected there that's filled with skulls and bones. A school playground was used to kill people mercilessly. People were tortured and just butchered in a school playground. When I went and saw those, something happened in me. I said, how can man be so cruel, so brutal, not have a heart? And it led me to think, what would happen if man is being so cruel? What can be the outcome? What will be the repercussion of this? And that got me thinking. And unknowingly, I had weaved a story in my head. And since this story kept coming back to my head, A little voice in my mind, in my head said, why don't you write a story? No, why don't you write this as a book? But you know the mind. Oh, come on. Who's going to read your book? What will people say after reading it? Just forget it. So I had pushed it aside. But this story kept coming back and forth to me again and again. And after about a year, luckily, I chanced upon a 100-day book authoring challenge. And thanks to the challenge, it drove me to complete my book. And at the launch of my book, I had a lot of butterflies. I was wondering, what would people say after reading this? What will be the kind of response? Will they trash me out? Will they say you're no good? I had all such thoughts. But I was just praying and I was trying to, calm and compose myself. Luckily, the book did very well. I started getting lots of appreciation for it. And that's when my first book was launched, A Glance at the Unknown. While there were words of appreciation that were coming in, some of my family and friends and well-wishers, they told me, they said, you're a finance professional. You are the CFO in a company. You have 25 years of rich experience. You should be writing a book in finance. And therefore, my friends, my next book, What the Finance, was launched. So this is what got me to go around writing my book. So know your why, and why is it that you want to write your book? So what do you think will make a difference? How many of you have read Harry Potter? Yes, Harry Potter was a fiction, a fantasy fiction. How many of you have read multiple books on leadership, motivation, self-help, business books, right? They have helped you, since they have made a difference to many lives. So it could be a non-fiction. It could even be a biography. Or if you're a poet, you can even write your poems. You could share your experiences through your books. There is a book that's called Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. She said she faced death. She actually could see her soul coming out of her body, and then she re-entered the body again. So it was an experience sharing. Her book is all about her experience. Your book could be about overcoming challenges. What are the challenges that people around you are facing, and you may know how to overcome that. It could be that, or it could be to create awareness. So my book, the first one, A Glance at the Unknown, is a spiritual thriller. So while there are many spiritual books and there are many thriller books, I decided to blend the two. And the book, What the Finance? It's easy to learn finance practices. How many of you dislike managing finance? While you may like money, you may not like to handle finance because you think finance is boring, it's cumbersome. So I tried to make the book an easy to learn finance practices, especially for people who are not so familiar with finance. So that is the kind of difference your book can make. And let me again tell you a story here. In the beautiful beaches of Manila, of Philippines, there was a little boy who was standing by the shore. A man saw him from a distance, and this boy was throwing something back into the sea, and he kept throwing. The man was curious, so he walked up to the boy to see what he was doing. The sea had washed a lot of starfish onto the shore, and this boy was actually picking up each starfish and throwing it back into the sea, and the waves would again bring the starfish back to the shore. And this boy kept doing this tirelessly. So the man, having observed this, asked the boy, "Why are you doing this? What difference will it make? Because the waves are anyway going to bring it back." The boy looked at the man and said, picked up another starfish, threw it back, and he said, it makes a difference to this particular one. So like one of the previous speakers mentioned, it could make a difference even to one person, and believe me, my friends, it's absolutely worthwhile. So let's see, to whom will your book make a difference? It would obviously make a difference to all the readers. It would make a difference to people who are seekers. Again, let me share a little story here with you. About 20 years ago, I used to live in Africa, in South Africa. And I met a person there who was pretty well-to-do, well-educated, having a good professional life, a happy relationship. Everything seemed fine in his life. Yet, he was unhappy. He had a lot of quest, and he was in search of something. And he felt there was something amiss in his life. It was at that point when the spiritual master, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar from the Art of Living, had visited there. When this person met him, he knew that he had found the spiritual master for his life. So he went and asked him, where have you been all my life? Why have you come so late into my life? And you know what the master told him? When the seeker is ready, the master will appear. So, when your seekers are ready, they will definitely be there for your book. Your book can make difference to communities. It could be, let's say, working women, or it could be business folks, or it could be millennials. So it could make a difference to your communities. It could make a difference to the next generation. Imagine life after 100 years. And your book is there, and people read it and get to know how life was 100 years ago. Make a difference to the next generation. You know, it could make a difference to your own self. Let me share this with you. A business contact was in an airplane, and he saw the person next to him read one of my books. So he told him, oh, that's a nice book that you're reading. Why? Because he knows me, and of course he's read my book. So the person next to him said, oh yes, it's a very nice book. You know, you should read the other book by the same author. That's also wonderful. So as soon as he came back, he told me this, and I was so excited, because these are few things that you really feel about, and it gives you a lot of high when you get it. Also, it could be for anonymous people, for strangers you haven't met. A stranger read one of my book, the book A Glance at the Unknown, and she told me, she messaged me saying, you know, I've got some solutions to my life that I have been searching about. So these are things that are so unexpected, and it makes you feel so good. Where will it make a difference? In your own mind. Because you either have a fear, which is what is probably coming in your way to accomplishing your book. Like I said, I had a lot of fear, you know, how my book would be perceived, whether people will like it or not. So when you overcome your fear in your own mind, you're putting up yourself up in a pedestal. You feel really good about your own self. And of course, if you don't have fear, if you're a confident writer, you feel so good because you have accomplished a beautiful piece of work. So in your own mind, it can make a difference. You're touching lives. Known people, unknown people, your books have the capacity to touch lives. A simple example. One of the employees, gifted a book to his boss on his birthday. The boss was so overwhelmed. He was a business guy, an entrepreneur. He was so happy to receive this book as a gift because it seemed to have made a lot of difference to him. And thereby, he rewarded the employee an extra bonus because he said, thank you very much for gifting me this wonderful book. It has made so much of a difference to me. Your book can be a solution provider. Newbies, who are aspiring to write or who want to learn more about your domain, it can be a good option for them. You can become a thought leader in the process, right? And that will be a big difference. And you know what? You can get surprises too. I never expected that my book, A Glance at the Unknown, would get me an award. And I was awarded as one of the 100 inspiring authors of India. Thank you. So there are unexpected things that can come your way. So when will it make a difference? With the birth of your book, the birth of an author. So it again makes a difference. Getting words of appreciation. When people start appreciating you, you feel so good. And money can't buy this happiness. The reach of your book is much larger. A little girl wrote about the Chennai floods. I'm from a city called Chennai in India, and we had Chennai floods. So she wrote about it, and she was able to raise a lot of money for the floods and the development of the city. Your book can solve problems. A senior of mine, after reading What the Finance, told me, I actually got some solutions to what I didn't know myself. So this is something that makes you feel so good. It gives you a lot of learning, and thereby your book enables others to learn a lot more. And of course, opportunities. Why do you think I'm here today in the Philippines in front of you all? It's because of my book. So it's getting a lot of opportunities. And how can it make a difference? Your book can generate ideas, It stimulates the mind when people read it. It can inspire people in different walks of life. Speaking opportunities, I think Jonathan already mentioned about it before, so you get a lot more speaking opportunities. Your book, when it's worthy, when people find a lot of value in it, definitely it is making a difference. You get more visibility as an individual because you are an author. You are the authority over it. And you never know what else it can lead to. Many unknown things that could be in store. A person who is much senior to me by age reached out to me after reading A Glance at the Unknown, and he said, the book is like an epic. And that made my day because I wasn't expecting anything like that when I started my journey. So your book offers you different opportunities, things that you never expected at all. Your book. Have you thought of your book? Yeah? Great. Let me tell you one other little story. In the busy streets of New York, there was an old man, and he was blind. So he was sitting there at the busy crossroads, had kept his begging bowl, and he had a note that said, I'm blind, please help me. So the passers-by, whoever would see that, some of them would drop a few coins. A couple of days later, a gentleman noticed this. He came to the blind man and he just changed the words and replaced it. And within the next few days, the collections started to grow. The blind man didn't know what was written. The person who had changed the note had come back and asked the blind man, how are the collections doing? He said, oh, thank you so much. I've been getting a lot of money and I don't know what you've written. Can you please tell me what is it that you've written? The man said, I just changed your words. He said, what is it? He said, the note read, it's a beautiful day today and I can't see it. That made the difference. So how is it that you are saying about your book? You know, the reason I say your book, thank you. You are outstanding. You are unique. And you are so resourceful. So with all of this, you can come up with your book, which is a masterpiece. And it's in your hands. So my friends, I'd like to leave you with these thoughts. When are you getting started on your book? And what are you going to write about? Where, for whom, and how is your book going to make the difference? Think about it, and I'd like to wish you all the very, very best. Salamat. Thank you.